Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today we have Kate with us, and Kate is our resident human design expert. So I think we might do this one just a little bit different today. I know Emily has some really cool human design questions that she's like dying to ask you.
Okay.
So for those who are listening and watching, well, I know this is a business podcast, and yes, we will tie the business aspect in throughout and, towards the end too. But what I would love to start with is for those who don't know human design, Kate, if you could give us just like a general like overview of what human design is and how just kind of high level, like how it's best utilized for people
Oh
in, I don't
gosh.
know, daily life.
Yeah. There's so many uses for it, but generally it is a system or a tool. I like to use it as a tool in my business, kind of very similar to a personality test, but much deeper, much more nuanced and accurate. It gives you guidance and tips and ways to get out of your shadow self and into your gift self. But essentially, it's very similar to astrology. It incorporates astrology into it. It is the I Ching, the Kabbalah tree of life, chakra system, astrology, neuroscience, quantum physics, genetics, all synthesized into one beautifully designed system that is just so accurate and so mind-blowing. It does on the surface sound kind of woo-woo, like very into the kind of spiritual realm, but very concrete aspects to it, very scientific aspects that allowed me to really believe in it and really it's changed my life and opened my eyes to how my energy works. So it's kind of like how the energy flows within you and certain like strengths and your innate abilities and your channels, which are like your superpowers, and I could go on and on. Um, but it is so useful in parenting, understanding how your kids operate their energy and how you can honor their energy and let them lead and understand why they might do certain things. And then, of course, in business, making business decisions based on your strategy and authority, and really understanding your unique strengths. So
You said parenting, and I'm like, Emily's got this. So I'm just gonna let you guys take the floor. I'll be here for comedic relief, probably.
I'm probably going to say something that a lot of parents would never admit or say, but I'm a manifester 4/6 profile. And let me just say, I love my boys to death. I would die for them tomorrow and at any point in time. But parenting wears me the fuck out. Both my boys are manifesting generators.
Okay.
So
Okay.
She's like,
she starts to laugh because she knows.
Yeah. I was going to guess that. Just because you have these bursts of energy and they are like consistent, full of energy. Yeah.
And so it's been really interesting to even learn, and I'm similar, like human design really changed the way that I operate, the way that I communicate, the way that I work. Like I'm in a sprint right now, and I will literally get up at 4 a.m. and not stop working until 7 p.m. Most people would say that's crazy, but I am in such a flow and I feel so good. And then knowing what is energizing me has been huge. So like a visualization, 5 minutes of visualizations, I've got like 2 or 3 more hours of work within me. Like,
Wow.
so certain things will inspire me. It's not people. I don't get inspired by people. But I get inspired more by like visualization or changing up my environment, whatever it may be. So the tool has been like incredible, but it's funny because I've joined this group that was just for manifestors. And the first time I ever felt seen as a parent, when I saw other moms in the group saying, I hate being a mom. Like, what is with these children? Like, we love them, life, soul, everything.
Yeah.
But I'm not there. So, and also I would love to know, like, what is your design and what's your profile lines?
Yeah, I'm a 2/4 sacral manifesting generator.
Okay. Yeah.
And then your husband is a generator.
He's the
Is that right?
manifesting manifesting
He's a
generator.
manifesting generator. Okay. And your
then
kids?
my oldest is a manifesting generator, and the two younger ones are generators. So full of energy in this house.
Yeah, that's a lot of energy. That's a lot. But I would also say, like, going back to the decision making process, and I'm going to share a little bit about like my decision making process when it comes to business. And now I'm also doing that in my personal life.
Yeah.
And then I would want to hear your decision making process to just kind of see, because Julie's decision process is also different.
Yep.
So, and human design has really helped us as a relationship, like as a business, like co-founders coming together to understand each other.
Absolutely.
And it's been great to see when I figured out it takes me like 24, 48 hours to make a decision. That was a game changer for me, because I would be making decisions in a high and feel so good. And then boom, I would plummet and I'd be like, what the fuck did we just decide? Like, why? It felt so aligned. Like, what's happening? And now,
Especially when we're on calls with those people who are like really good at selling, right? Like they're just really good at it.
Mhm.
And I'm over here kind of like, and Emily is like, yeah, I love it. Let's do it. I'm like, okay. Like I just roll with it, right? Like as a projector, I'm just like, okay, let's do it. And then, like she said, 24 to 48 hours later, she's like, sometimes it's not even that long, right? It's like once she's out of that energy, she's just like,
Yep.
wait
So
a
it's
minute.
the emotional authority, right?
yeah.
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 So that really changed things for you.
Yes, totally. And now it's like I don't make that kind of decision. And even I also feel like it changed things for me in dating, just to be able to, like, I would go into a high if their energy was high. Like, it was like I would, go into high and then just, what did I just experience in my life? Like,
And
to
you'd also
have
get
like,
wrapped up in dates for like hours. Like she'd be out with guys for like hours. She'd come back 6 hours later and she'd be like, yo, I was just on a date for like 6 hours. I'm like, the what? What? You did what? And she's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
so going back to the decision making process, what's your decision making process like for you?
So I need to respond is my strategy, to respond to things. And then I can initiate, or it helps if I inform. And my sacral authority is like that gut instinct. Like I'll go, ooh, yeah. Like I'll be drawn to it. And if it's a no, then I'll be repelled. Like my body will physically move away from it. And if I say
That's interesting.
yes to things that are no's, my body like shuts down when I'm in the process of doing whatever it is. Like it's like I'm moving through mud and just like I'm so dreading it and my body's super heavy. And like I am so much more aware of that now. It's like I know the consequences of what I do, what happens when I say yes to something that should have been a no. And then of course when I say yes to something that is a yes, it's like so much excitement. My body is like tingling kind of like as I'm working with it. I have butterflies in my stomach. So I definitely know I am in alignment. I'm on the right path, making the right decision.
That's so interesting because we know someone else who is a generator. And she was telling me, she was like, I had a partner, she had a partner a couple years prior or whatever. And she was like, they would start to ask me a question and I would answer before they'd even gotten like 3 words out of their mouth because I would already know the answer. And that would piss them off because they'd be like, you don't even know what I'm going to ask you. And she's like, it's a no.
Okay.
You don't have to finish. Like, it's a no. And like, they would get super, super frustrated with her. So I don't know if I don't remember the rest of her profile, just that she's a generator, but that's super, super interesting.
Yeah,
And then for me, I typically like know in the moment. And it's like, because I'm a splenic projector, right? So it's just like, and it's also fun because when other things come in, like whether it's content ideas or ideas for the business or something, I just get this really cool download and shit. I just want to post online, right? If I don't do it in the moment, I'm like, it's so cool, but I just like it could still be there, but I just like the inspiration to do it is like,
yeah,
I'm good.
that's one of the most difficult authorities. I feel like it's so fleeting. You're just like, oh crap, it's gone. Never mind.
You have to get really good at listening to yourself and trusting that intuition when it comes up, right? And like the more I learn to lean into that and to trust that, it's so interesting. Like I noticed it this morning when I was on I was cleaning up messages on Facebook. I was cleaning up archived messages on Facebook, and I get to someone. I won't name names, but I get to someone on the list, and all of a sudden, I felt completely. I jumped out of my body. I literally like was out of my fucking body, and my whole head. I was just like, "Whoa!" And I was just like, so it's like my body just completely reacts like just like that. And I'm like, well, this is good intel to now have that when I start to feel myself, now I can start to feel myself when I like disassociate or detach and like
Mm.
leave my body. And I'm like, oh, good. So now I just know when that happens to be like, I'm done with that, whatever that is.
Yeah, having that awareness and knowing what it means.
Yeah,
I
yeah, and
mean,
knowing what it
that's
means for
intense.
sure. Yeah,
So when
I'm
it
used to it though.
comes to, I was just going to ask Kate for a question. When it comes to working with clients and creating content, do you find that there is a certain human design you're like, oh my goodness, I got to work with this type of design versus other design types?
Well, it's interesting. The majority of my clients have been generators or manifesting generators. Like that's just who comes to me, who's like magnetized to me. I do feel like, well, so generators working with generators is super, super common because reflectors can be any type, right? They can take on the energy of everybody. Projectors can be manifesting generators, and manifestors. So, and then manifestors can also be manifesting generators and generators. So for the generators, we don't know what it feels like to be the other types, but you guys do to some extent. So I prefer sometimes working with manifesting generators and generators. So that being said, I have worked with a couple projectors here and there, and it is interesting, just like working on their branding and their website and everything, and the timelines that are presented. I do think, kind of looking back on it, like the generators are a little slower paced. Like they're very steady and slow. And I'm a manifesting generator, and I'm like, let's get shit done. Let's go, go, go. I don't want to wait. So I really try to honor their schedule, their timeline, or how they make decisions. I worked with a generator that was quad right. And so that means all of her arrows are pointing to the right. She's very receptive, very, information takes a long time to process within her. And when we started working together, she told me this. She didn't know about her design. I'm like, yeah, you're quad right. Like that makes absolute sense. And I will honor that you're a little slower in processing things. Like that's beautiful. And that is the direction that humanity is going, and like much more slower, much in tune with our bodies, with our emotions and our heart and soul. So just knowing that and pacing myself and setting deadlines and stuff, it's a lot made it more manageable for me. And then with the projectors, they are also a little slower.
We're a lot slower. You can say it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Like, yeah, they're just kind of hanging back. Like, yep, like exactly what you were saying in the beginning, Julie. Yep, okay, sounds good. Like I'm just going with the flow. And then me and it was a couple. So the husband was a projector and the wife was a manifesting generator. And we're like, oh yeah, let's go, 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 go. And he's like, okay. So that's kind of the largest difference I can think about as I reflect on it.
Yeah, and I think like it's so powerful also. Clearly, we do something completely different than you do. But when we do work with clients and we understand their human design, it almost gives you like a completely different insight when you're working with someone, or even when you know someone. Even with my boys, when I understood that, the profile lines, I've got a 6-2 and a 3-5.
Yeah.
And they're both manifesting generators, but act very, very differently. And so knowing that about people and then really looking at it and doing research and understanding you know, when you're working with them, the communication style. Example, I'm a manifestor, don't waste my fucking time. If I'm in a sprint, we're gonna go. If I'm not in a sprint and I'm in a rest, like it may be a hit or a miss. But if I'm in a sprint, everybody's going. Like,
and it's so true. It's so true. Like anytime she messages me about new ideas or wanting to connect on things, it's like, I don't want to say it's like it's the end of the world, but it's like it's an emergency and it has to get done now. And I'm just like, nah, like nah.
It's like a bullet. It's like, let's go.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah. And you can initiate and just put stuff out there. I'm so jealous.
Well, I mean, there is like, there's also the shadow sides, you know, and I don't think that we talk about this enough in human design. When we do see people's human designs, and we can see like the shadow sides of human design. And I remember like my first human design reading, you know, she was like, oh, like there was a lot of stories projected, and I picked up those stories. But one of the things I would say, when you understand your human
I think she froze.
design, you can see like, yeah, I can initiate. Oh, am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
We see you.
Oh no.
What did you guys hear?
You're a manifestor, so you can initiate. And
then that was it.
Yep.
Okay. Did you guys?
She keeps going in and out.
What did you guys hear? Where are we gonna start again?
You're a manifestor, so
Shadow.
you can initiate.
And like, what is the shadow side of that?
Yeah. What and the projections that you picked up?
Yeah.
The shadow side of that is initiate, people wanting me to initiate for them and not being aware of when that is happening. And then me, the side of being a people pleaser as well. And so I'm
Lone
constantly.
wolf. It's too cold in Florida right now for the internet to work. So while Emily's working out some internet issues, I know from my perspective, okay, so like the projector is wait for the invitation, and then what's my shadow? I don't even remember what my shadow side or my like.
Or like that you're not in alignment, you're not self-seen.
Oh, get the bitterness. The bitterness is a fun one. Let's play with that for a hot second, right? Because like I can ruminate on shit like a like I could ruminate. There's a lady that I worked with. She was in HR. I was in HR too, but she was like an actual generalist. I was just in training. And I remember she'd like come into my classes sometimes and she would like point things out during class. Like, she doesn't say that. And I'd be like, yeah, I just fucking ignore her and I just go right on, right? And but then she'd go tell mom, like she'd go to our boss, the HR manager, and like fucking narc on me. and and then I'd get called into the principal's office, right? I'd be like, listen, like she's a grown ass adult. Like she can just come to me and tell me what her fucking problem is. Like she didn't have to come to you. And she's like, well, she tried. And I'm like, because she made a comment during the class, let's try. Anyways, that happened at like 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, super early in the workday. And then at night, once I got home from work, it'd be like 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, and I'd still be thinking about it. I'd still be pissed about it, right?
Yeah.
So like that bitterness, it really, and I think this is the first time that's really clicked in for me. But the whole waiting for the invitation. So what I love that I think Emily and I have both discovered about like the shadow self and how that works is like my whole like wait for the invitation. I was like, no, fuck that. It made so many things make sense in my life, right? But then I learned tips, tricks, and ways that I can give myself permission to do stuff. And now when people tell me, oh, well, you have to wait for the invitation, I'm like, no, I don't. I give myself the invitation, right? So I think it's like once you know these things about your design, like how can you use them then to your benefit, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that these are things that you do in business with your clients. We didn't talk about it, but what Kate does is she creates branding for people, right? Like I'll let you go into what you do, but I'd love to hear about like how you use the different elements of their design with what you do.
Yeah, so in the first session, it's like an energetic breakthrough insight session where I go through all through their chart, their type, strategy, authority, really educating them on their type, their energy, how to use it, how to make business decisions based on a way that will be in alignment for them.
Which is
And
huge, like we talked about.
yeah, and so when I learned about human design and learned about that, I was like, everybody needs to know about this, but especially if you are a business owner and like you're making all these decisions, you're putting yourself into your business. And of course, having a brand, you want it to be authentic. You want it to be you. You don't want it to be like some forced facade that you're trying to convince people who you are. When you layer in your human design and your energetics and you become in alignment with the decision making, waiting and using your strategy and authority, and you come into alignment, you are going to have a very authentic brand. You're not going to have to convince anybody who you are or what you do. But then, the fun part is creating all the visuals and the like poetic messaging almost.
You're like,
I
you
love
just love
that.
it so much.
I love that part of really making it you, because with all, and also part of it is removing all the programming and conditioning of how you think you should be, how you think you should sound. Like without human design, you're probably just showing up and you're not self-same. So really understanding that first and foremost. And so with my clients, I've done a couple of one-on-one programs where we really work through it for a couple of weeks, where like their messaging, like we have messenger access. When I have an insight, I'll send them a message. If they have any questions, start our time together. They have like multiple reflection questions and journaling prompts that they can talk with me anytime about. And throughout this time, I'm like reiterating their strategy and authority. Like that is first and foremost.
To kind of like ingrain it into them the way that they're okay.
Exactly. Like don't forget about your decision making process. Like throughout all of this, if you have a big decision coming up, remember this first. And then just like it kind of just like opens up these channels of clarity. It's like, oh, like after spending like a month following this, you start to see things are coming into place, things are flowing. And that's such a beautiful thing with the human design, just as a business owner. And then taking it a few steps further and putting in your brand is also super empowering.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because like I know we've talked several times about this, right? Because it's a little backstory. The way that Kate and I met was on Threads as a projector. I don't have the motors that generators and manifesting generators do. So for me to really be able to like sit down and be focused and get stuff done like is not always there. It's not always super easy for me to do. So I put out this thread and I was like, hey, I'm a 3-5 projector. I'm looking for a manifestor or a manifesting generator that I can do co-working meetings with. Basically, I'm shamelessly like stealing your energy
Yes.
so I can get work done. But also, like, I am like fucking problem solving extraordinaire. Like, it just, so I'm like, let me help you solve whatever problems you need. And I just want your energy, right?
Yeah.
So, and it worked out so beautifully too, because we also figured out that we have those gates that line up.
Yep. We create electromagnetic channel where I start things and you end things.
Yes. Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so thankful that I saw that thread and responded using my response to that.
There's the beauty of like
Yeah.
the universe, right? It's the beauty of how like things come together. And I listened to Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. It's a book by Bob Proctor, and I'm fucking on the soapbox about it all the time. But there's something that he said in there, like when you are in flow with the universal laws, when you're in flow with the universe, everything comes in easily. And I can't tell you how fucking true this is, right? Like when you are in flow, like I feel like Emily and I just like fully got into flow within the last month and a half, 2 months probably. And now the most amazing and incredible things are just coming in. So like if you're struggling in your business, you're not in alignment with the universe, but also your design type, right? Like
Yeah.
once you learn what these things are for you and how you can lean into them and how you can utilize them, then things just are magically. So if like shit is not working out, like we can't tell you how many ideas and things like we've started, how many pivots we've had and things we've tried to do. We're like, yes, this is the thing, it's gonna work. And it sounds beautiful and amazing and freaking perfect. And then we get a month and a half into it and we're like, this is not it. We don't want to give up on it because we've just spent
Yeah.
this much time in it, right? But we're like, this is not it. Are
Yeah.
you back? I think you're back.
Yes, yes, I heard like bits and pieces, like two or three words, but what I did hear, I was like, yes, yes.
Yay.
But yeah, that's the beauty, I think, too, of working with people who understand, like, branding is not our jam, right? It's not something that we do. It's not something that we offer. Um, but for the people who do these things, I was telling Emily earlier, I was like, to see Kate, like in Go High Level, for those of you who don't know, it's a CRM system, but like you were brand new to the system pretty much.
Yeah.
And then I showed you like one or two, like how to get to something. And then you're just like off to the races doing things. Like,
Yeah. I learn pretty quickly. That's one of my strengths for sure. Get things done, learn things quickly, pick up on things.
yeah, but that's like the beauty of the designs and like learning about those
Yeah,
things, right?
their strengths.
And yeah, I would love to like hear like what ways do you tap into and utilize like the strengths, like your gates and your design in different ways to serve your clients in the best way possible.
Um, so it's interesting. Like a lot of times I noticed that I was already naturally doing this with like my sun sign is in gate 39, which is the gate of provocation. And so basically, I'm like, I am removing emotional stagnation from my clients in their business, or like they're about to start a business and they're really frustrated. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to bring it together. So I like remove that block from them. I provoke them into clarity, into the next level. I catalyze their business. Um, so that is one of my core strengths. And then I really love looking at the north and south nodes. We think we talked about this, where the south is like strengths and energies that you're very comfortable with that you brought in from past life. And then around age 40 is when the nodes change to be the north node. And now this is the new direction that you're going in.
Wait, age 40 north node, got it.
Around there. So it
It's
could be
creeping
like
up. It's creeping up.
38 to 42.
Also creeping up.
Yep. That I will be 40 this year. So my south node was the gate of creativity and inspiration and self-expression. But it's interesting. This channel is the 1-8 channel, which I have, and that's the
I'm
channel.
like looking at my chart over here.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're gonna pull some up. So
I can totally pull mine up if you want. I mean, it's up. I can share my screen.
Yeah, we could share that. But then I had the 1-8 channel. So that's channel of contribution, but that's a projected channel. So it has to be invited. People have to recognize this energy in me and ask me to do it.
So this 1-8 right here.
Yeah. So my south node is the 1. It's in the identity center. So I can help people understand their identity. So I have that strength. I have it defined.
Yeah, she does. I can't tell you how many conversations we've had, and I'm like, oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. So that energy I'm really comfortable with, like the creativity, the design. And then my north node is gate 2, which is the direction of the self, or using divine guidance to guide others. And so that is using human design as kind of that divine guidance to help people navigate their business and create their brand. So I was naturally doing that. And then I learned about what these gates meant. I was like, oh my God, like this is just so spot on. And I can't tell you how many of my clients is the same thing. It's like I tell them about their south node and then their north node, and they're like, holy shit. Like,
Which on the chart, is that these two?
yeah.
Okay. Well,
Oh yeah, I forgot your quad right also. You don't
What?
you're also quad right. I forgot about that. So
What's that do for me?
all four of your areas point right, and you're like much more receptive, processing things a little more slowly, not very like of a strategic or like left. It's basically right, completely right brained. And then no air, it was to the left. So there's like no left brain energy in general. Like this is very top level speaking, but that is interesting.
So I have a question on the North Node and South Node. So if my North Node would her North Node and South Node on this chart be the same as what astrology would say?
Yeah, those gates are in the like zodiac sign, the same zodiac sign. And then they're always directly opposite of each other.
Okay, question. Are we talking tropical astrology?
Yeah.
Or Jotic astrology? Okay, because that's a big difference for me.
Yeah. Human design is based on tropical.
Okay, because I am North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra in tropical, but in Jodic or Vedic astrology, I am Pisces Virgo. So I'm like, which one are we talking here? And both land for me in different ways. So it's super interesting.
Yeah. Those gates would be in the same area.
All right, Emily, I know you got some kind of North Node, South Node question going on.
No, I'm about to go check my chart after this to see where my North Node, South Node is, because I felt this huge shift from an astrology standpoint. My North Node is in Pisces, my South Node is in Virgo. And through when I felt like when we shifted into this North Node Pisces just recently here,
yeah.
I felt a huge energetic shift. And I went into this main area, like main character energy of like, don't fuck with me. Like, this is my season, my time, all the things. And I'm like, what happened? What shifts? But it was such a huge shift. And then the more that I looked at my chart and I'm like, oh, when the last time this North Node, was 2006, 2007, I think, which would have been when I left the Amish culture. So it was a huge shift. So it's been really interesting to kind of reflect. And now I'm going to go check my human design chart to see where's that at, so I can see what kind of what lines up.
Yes. Wow, that's interesting. I love looking back and seeing like what the energy was like at a certain area in time or place in time. One of my clients, she's like in her 70s, and we were looking at her Chiron return, which is like around 58 or something. And
for those who don't know, Chiron is like the shaman medicine man. Like Chiron's gonna get your shit straight. Shadow, working on the shadow self, working on those I mean, some people might call them limiting beliefs, but like trauma self and just different things like that. Like Chiron is the man to bring it up.
Yeah. She just did like a bunch of amazing things that year, whatever. Like she ran a marathon, and she went to Nepal and India, and she had a divorce, and like all these amazing things happened to her in that time during her Chiron return. So it's so great.
I'm wondering now, like, what's the difference then between like a Saturn return and a Chiron return? Because Saturn return happens what, every 30-ish, 20, 30 years, something like that.
Yeah. So you can have two type Chiron return, or Saturn returns. So it'd be around when you're 54, 55. Maybe I'm off on the Chiron, but it's, yeah, all this.
I think Saturn is 2 to 3 times in a lifetime, depending how long you live.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
First one being around like 33-ish.
27 to 33. Yeah.
Okay.
There's also the Uranus opposition, which is your midlife crisis. So like that's when Uranus is exactly halfway in its orbit from when you were born, which is when a lot of stuff gets mixed up too.
Oh, good. That's something else to look forward to. We've done enough work now that it should be gravy, right? It should be fucking so easy. This is another day in the life.
Yeah.
This is all like, I know, Emily, you've got something else to say. This is just it. Every time we have these conversations, it's so mind blowing to me because the amount of things that you know, and I'm like, well, that's one more thing that I get to look into, right? Like this rabbit hole, like literally goes on forever.
Yes.
So when Emily and I work with clients, we keep it pretty high level. And we keep it like to help us understand them in a way that we can serve them best, but we can help them understand, just different. And I'll let Emily to speak to this because this is like definitely her jam. Yeah, go ahead, Emily.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like, it's almost like this tool that gives you like insight that they don't necessarily, if they've never been in human design before, it's like this tool that gives you insight to know how to navigate. And then I would also say for those that are and we don't hide this, like we're very spiritual based and we're very intuitive. So intuitively, like mixing that with human design and being able to guide and lead, we have had multiple experiences where people have told us this is the way to do it, and then it doesn't work and we don't get results. And we're like, what happened? Why did that happen? And then, we got to learn those lessons. So now we know we don't teach that kind of way. We lead and guide them to basically know themselves really good. And that's giving them these tools. Yeah. I also feel like more and more the industry is going to be shifting to this because it's a deeper level. We are also in the age of Aquarius. We are very innovative, very there's going to be a lot of shifts. We already see it with AI, but even just from a business owner standpoint, I think the deeper and the better that you know yourself, and human design being a great tool, I personally would not work with someone that does not understand human design. And the reason for that is because I'm a manifester. And if you don't understand how I operate, I don't want to work with you because then I don't feel like I have a level of respect.
Yeah.
Even in like some coaching containers, when I look back, I'm like, oh, that's why I just didn't get it. And, this whole community aspect, we also bop in and out of communities, manifestors. Like there's seasons I'm great at building relationships, and there's seasons like, don't bother me with a relationship. Like, let me be in this sprint. So I think like when you understand that about your clients and can give these tools to your clients, it's a game changer.
Absolutely. And it helps them understand you too. Yeah. Like our auras are different. Manifestors have kind of this closed off aura, like nothing personal. It's just how your energy is.
Oh no, she knows it's true.
And so when other people understand that, they will accept it and figure out how your energies can work together. That's huge.
Yeah, I have to laugh when people are like, I can't read you. And I just laugh, and internally I think, yeah, that's on purpose. Like I use it to my advantage. So when I want to be like very closed off, I can very much bubble myself, but at the same time, I can initiate a lot. Yeah. So I tend to practice this a lot in grocery shopping when I don't want to wait in the line, traffic. And when I'm running, I always do this so I never have to stop at the lights. So I like practice like initiating like red light, green light, and seeing how many I can hit. So I can like practice my initiation to see like how can I like stop the flow or continue the flow.
You're literally manifesting.
Yeah, I know.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah. So did you have a defined throat? right?
Do I have a defined throat? I don't
Yeah, I think all manifestors have a defined throat because that is the manifesting center. So like that is what the powerhouse of bringing things, out into the world and bringing them to you. So yeah.
I do know on the way that I manifest is always different. Like when people talk, 369, 3 by 3, whatever the thing is, probably the fastest way that I have learned to manifest is to speak it out and because when I speak it, I
That's
can
why
just
she's saying your throat's defined.
yeah, I can just like feel like my whole thing shift and it doesn't really resonate for me to like listen to somebody else's meditation anymore or do this guided visualization. No, like get your shit somewhere else. Like I'll just figure out my own. But part of that when I speak it out, just I can literally shift my energy.
Yeah, so you're really in tune with that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I need to work on that more.
Seeing Kate like a shit, she's like, whoa.
Yeah. It's so powerful. Like I have a defined throat too. And I know I am so quiet. I'm so reserved. I'm a 2, so I'm like very hermitish and like quiet Kate is what I was like growing up. But now once I learned human design, I'm like, fuck that. Like I'm gonna use my voice. I'm gonna, being a hermit is a strength of mine. It's not a bad thing, which like society might make you think like being quiet and shy is not a strength.
Oh, I love me some hermit mode. Let me tell you what.
Yeah. So just practicing speaking out loud, and I do see it. I do see the results of it when I actually try. So I'm going to try more.
There you go. There you go. All right. So I know that we will link all of your contact information in the show notes. Thank you for sending it to me again, because shit, Julie's email is mayhem sometimes. Any like last parting words or anything that you'd like to say to anyone who's watching who either just started their business, is thinking about starting their business, maybe they're like, my branding no longer reflects who I am and I need to figure some things out. So what would you say to any of those people?
Yeah, really. So look at your human design. I have this free checklist. It's called the Authentic Branding Blueprint, and it takes you through your human design and how to, a lot of prompts and reflection questions, also brainstorming of how to integrate your energetics into your brand. And that is a really good starting point. I've gotten a lot of feedback on it that it's like really giving them a lot of insight and intention in how they want to create their brand, which is, it's just an extension of yourself, but knowing how to do it, that's truly unique and in alignment with you. So it's not forced or anything is the key, because you think you're doing it the way everybody else should be doing it, but you got to do it yourself. So I can send you a link to that, or schedule an energetic insight session just to kind of go through everything. It's like a reading, go through everything on a deeper level and how it specifically relates to your brand and go from there.
Yeah, I think that the energetic insight reading would be top notch for people to do. And Kate also does audits. So if you've got like website and things like that, like you can pay Kate to come in and do an audit. And then if you're really feeling like the audit versus where things are at right now, things are like really drastically off, then she'd be more than happy to work with you and help you on that.
Yes, let's bring it into alignment.
All right. Any last parting words before we sign off for this session, ladies?
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It was so much fun. It's always so much fun. All right. Until next time, we will see you later.